Well, good evening, everybody, and we are in for something of an interesting night, I hope. And before I start my introduction, I want to introduce you to a friend who is going to be our official mascot. Meet Mittens. Hi there, Mittens. Mittens. Meow. That is Mittens. A little bit bashful, but I'm going to be using her as a mascot, and we're going to do a couple things with her in the future. And so let us start off tonight with the accusation. Now, I received a text message on Thursday morning, and it makes a rather interesting accusation against one Timothy Charles Homseth and Randy Lynn Erickson. And so I am going to be reading this message to you, and you can also follow along with the dialogue. And it starts like this. A friend of mine is completely deranged. She had a breakdown during COVID, and she met Timmy and Randy in Atlanta. They were staying at the Omni Hotel. They were telling everyone they were married. Randy Erickson was not going by the name Randy Erickson. She was telling people that she was Randy Homseth. Randy and Tim shared a hotel room, and they paid for a hotel room for my friend. She stayed in the room next door. They were scheduled to have a meeting at 10 a.m. one morning. When my friend went to the room, they left a note on the door saying CNN was spying on them and they had to leave before they were executed. They left without paying for the rooms, like Randy said she would. My friend, who was not financially stable, was stuck with the bill. She had to pay for both rooms. Her bank account went into the negative. Timmy and Randy ghosted her and do not return her calls or texts. They ignore her. Timmy and Randy had her convinced she was going to be a member of their PPTF and were going to swear her in. Timmy and Randy went to the CNN building and asked to have a meeting with Nancy Grace, and security told them she did not work there anymore. They also demanded to meet with an executive and were denied access. They were asked to leave. Timmy and Randy were going to have her take an oath before they ditched her and left her high and dry. Now, some of these are, I'm doing this basically the way I received the message, and the individual kind of sent these back and forth. Randy was telling my friend that she tried to talk Field into transferring the title of his property into an LLC run by her and Timmy. Denise did not let them go do that. Randy was furious. She said she paid Field's taxes and owned the home, and she is demanding her money back. Randy was telling my friend she tried to talk. Okay, I had problems, and I think I duplicated a couple of these slides. My friend was a big follower of Field long before she knew who Tim was. That's how she found out about Tim, and she went to Minnesota to attend his trial. Now, what this is a felony. It's known as theft by deception, when you promise to uh, do something, in this case, pay a bill, and they don't do it, then that's considered felony grand larceny under Georgia rules, and um, this is what they are purported to be guilty of. The thing of it is, this is the third time I have had this accusation presented to me that they are doing various things throughout the country and um, running an alleged scam where they somehow either get people to pay their expenses or they walk out without paying expenses, skipping out on a meal that they go and they order a meal, they eat it, and then they walk out without paying the bill. That's a common scam. A lot of drifters do that. This is what they're accused of doing. They're accused of similar situations like the one I just described. Now, this is an allegation. There is no proof. This is hearsay. Uh, Now, one thing important here is CNN, when they have a security situation uh, that is described, uh, it gets noted in an incident report. And so there would be a record with CNN security about this incident if it did happen. Uh, Now, if you folks recall back in, and I'm bringing the slide up. It's going to take me a minute, but you recall that Tim went to CNN and he had his picture taken in front of the CNN building at that little um, landmark that they have, and that is the big sign, the CNN sign out at in front of the main building. I have been to CNN many a times, and I even photographed myself one time, or actually I had somebody do it, in front of that sign. Now, this is something that's interesting about this. If you pay close attention to the upper right-hand corner, you will see uh, a security man right to the right at the end. Now, when I process this picture, there are actually three of them. There's two more security personnel that were behind the CNN sign right at the bottom right-hand corner of the end. You can barely see one of them there to the left of the officer that's in plain view. Uh, Now, whether or not these were the officials that escorted Tim Holmseth out of the building is hard to say. And the question here is, when are these people going to be held accountable? Well, that's a good question. Now, it is my understanding that in at least one of these incidents, apparently not the one that I just posted, there have been criminal charges filed. And the problem with that is there are so many people that do this um, thing where they eat their meals and they dash off, um, is it's hard to prosecute them. They don't have any specific identification. You don't pay in advance unless you go to like Golden Corral. But if you go to a diner, a sit-down diner, and you have a meal, um, and somebody gets up and goes to the bathroom or looks like they're going to go to the bathroom, this is where they usually dash out. And um, this sort of thing is quite common, unfortunately. I've seen it happen in restaurants where the wait people will start chasing after them, and there's only so much legally they can do. Usually they call the police and hope the people are around long enough to get prosecuted, but in most cases they're gone. I don't know if they were able to identify the vehicle they were driving or what have you. Now, as to the meat of this particular tip, this was not a Twitter message or anything else. This came, I'm not going to give the specific details, but this came to an unusual contact point, something that I have never gotten before when it comes to anything that has to do with Homeseth or anything else. This was rather unusual how this was sent to me. And it uh, kind of made, when I first saw it, I kind of wondered, I said, this is unusual for someone to send me the message in this manner. And so I give credence to the uh, accusation to this point. Now, the person making the accusation is responsible for the accusation. I am not making it, I am simply reporting on it. So if Timmy and Randy want to do something about it, they are going to have to go through legal channels and find out who the tipster was. I'm not going to be giving out how this information got to me. They are going to have to file the legal paperwork and try and get it. And as a journalist, I have legal protections against anonymous sources getting information to me. I don't publish all the accusations that are out there because there's lack of sufficient detail. There's no circumstantial evidence to back it up. But this time there was, because this incident would have happened around the first week in February of this year. Because it was February 2nd of this year that Tim Homeseth published a video on BitChute where in the video was the picture of him at the CNN Center. Now, originally, that video had to do with the resignation of the president or CTO or CEO, whatever he was, at CNN at that time because of a affair he was having with another senior staffer at the network, and he was forced to resign. So that gives the circumstantial evidence there. And the Omni downtown in question is a hotel that is in CNN Center, and it is in walking distance of CNN. You wouldn't even have to take your car there if you didn't want to, because the hotel provides free parking. Well, it's part of the room fee, actually, but it's built into the cost. I have stayed in that hotel quite a few times. Tinsley, what you can do is when the show is recorded on YouTube, you can go back and read it. But for your sake, I am going to put it back up again, just so those that are having buffering problems will have it here. And this gives a synopsis as to what happened. It basically, the friend of the tipster met Timmy and Randy at the hotel. They stayed there a night or two. They said they were going to have a meeting with, oh, thank you, Tinsley, appreciate that. They were going to have a meeting with Nancy Grace at CNN. Unfortunately, Timmy didn't do his homework. Nancy Grace worked for HLN, and she is no longer with the CNN company. She's doing her show elsewhere, and I can't remember right now where it was. But, the accusation basically is that they were staying at this hotel. They were telling everybody that they were married, and Randy was using Tim Homeseth's surname. She was Randy Homeseth. Now, if you people recall, around this time or sometime before, it actually came out where Randy was using the last name Homeseth. This went on for quite a while, and I am not sure what happened there, but I don't see her using his surname anymore. It's like it was It was something they did. They decided, well, enough of that. I'm going to go back to being Randy Erickson. Yeah, I knew that she had moved to a different network, Levi. Thank you for that information. Um, and, Tim Holmes, supposedly being an investigative reporter, should have realized that because she had left CNN/HLN a long time ago. And yet here he is causing a ruckus at CNN headquarters trying to get an interview, if not with her, with an executive about these underground kids that he apparently told everybody that existed. And now turns out the source of this information was David Strait. Uh, she claimed that on something she sent you, right? Yeah, this, what you're seeing on the screen is a screen capture of the message the tipster sent me. It is someone who had a close friend of hers meet Randy and Timmy at the Omni downtown, which is on the CNN complex, as it's called. It's the closest hotel to CNN. It's within walking distance of the main uh, building. Tinsley, so far there is no indication that there is a divorce in progress between Randy and her husband. It's my understanding that it may be a legal separation, although there isn't much talk about what's going on. Uh, the last time we heard from her husband was that he had told law enforcement who came there looking for Timmy that his wife was not there and she had not been there in quite some time. I believe at that time it was around a year that Randy had not been to the family residence. Now, whether or not her husband was telling the truth is an unknown, and at this point it is unknown what the status is between the two of them. All that is known is Timmy and Randy are doing a lot of traveling, and uh, it's hard to say uh, how they're getting their finances. But if this accusation is true, then they are getting it by literally screwing people out of their money, either by making promises of being involved with the PTF, stating that they're extremely important people within the child trafficking prevention movement, or with fighting CPS or whatever it is they claim to be doing. And these people fork over their hard-earned money on promises that are not kept. And in this case, this is a criminal felony. Um, wait a minute. Where did I see this? Yeah, they did. This was a long time ago. They told me they gave me a cease and desist, and the problem with that is twofold. First of all, they use my name and make direct accusations against me, and they have both been doing this for several years. Timmy's been doing it for almost a decade, and Randy's been doing it for half a decade. Plus, the second half of this argument is Randy Erickson claims to be with the PPTF, which is something that was created by either Donald Trump, Melania Trump, or both to fight child trafficking. And that makes them representative of either a current or former uh, presidential administration. It makes them a government agent, and it also makes them a prominent individual, somebody that's famous. And this means that everything they say and do in this regard is a matter of public interest, and so I am free under the First Amendment to mention their names, especially when I have documentation like what is being seen on the screen of an accusation made by a third party, and this is of the public interest. If this accusation is true, and we've got these people running around the country screwing people out of money in this manner, that's a matter of public interest. Uh, Now it is alleged that there is at least one uh, felony warrant out for one of these individuals, and they have definitely got at least two misdemeanor warrants out for them. One for Timmy and one for Randy. And uh, according to police records that I have found in Thief River Falls, Minnesota, Timothy has an active felony warrant. Now, I have not been able to find out much yet because this is an extremely old case. And it's going to take a while for law enforcement to meet my FOIA request. They keep telling me they're researching it as best they can. Yeah, Timmy calls it Melania's task force because he has a fixation with Melania. He's had it almost from the beginning, and now instead of Trump's task force, it's turned into Melania's task force. And so we have this situation where uh, they are running around claiming to be part of this Melania's task force. And again, this makes them a government agency or agent and a prominent citizen, since this is someone that claims to be working on behalf or in conjunction with the first lady, former first lady of the United States, who is in uh, something of a manner of a government official. She is a prominent government associate, if you could say, by marriage, and to the president of the United States, and she is apparently taking this position of fighting child trafficking, and this automatically sent the message to Timmy that he's going to be part of this, and even though it's not true. So we have Timmy claiming to be part of this task force, and um, making all these wild claims about having first-hand information about children in tunnels and everything else, and that's basically falling apart because now David Straight, who was the originator apparently of this situation, backtracking on it, and this has got Timmy mad, and Timmy is now saying that if there's any fraud committed, it was done by David Straight, and David Straight misled him. And he's, for the most part, he's throwing David Straight under the bus. And so what you have is Timmy. What did I just see here? I missed. Oh, the task force came in. Task force, you cannot make any demands under the law because you are a government official. You're making claims. No, I'm not going to demand. I'm not going to retract it. Your legal claim, if one, is with the party that made the accusation. Now, I demand you retract everything you have written about me for the past 10 years. I demand you retract all this stuff about Whitey Bulger, about me being an alleged serial killer and child trafficker and all that other crap that you've done. It's you that needs to do the retracting. You claim to be a member of the Pentagon Pedophile Task Force. You claim to be working with the Joint Special Operations Command. You make all these claims and have provided not one whit of truth to it. I see, now you come in here and you make accusations against Paula. And yeah, you do it on my show. Now, retract that. Yeah, since you're in a position of demanding to retract accusations of that nature, you start doing some retracting. You see, you're in a panic because you know that it is likely that this tip that was provided to me by an anonymous person is true. Everything adds up. You were in Atlanta, Georgia around the 2nd of February. We have photographic proof of Tim Holmseth being there. We have this individual describing this point by point by point by point. And rather than comment on this accusation, you are defaming and making accusations against people in this room. This is what you do. Instead of addressing this stuff, you change the subject and you go after other people. Well, that's just too bad. What you're doing is proving your guilt because you are not addressing the subject of this show. And that is that an anonymous individual has made direct contact with me and accused you of felony grand larceny, of theft of deception. And I have at least two more of these on file. The only reason this third one was put up is because the circumstantial evidence is provable. You were in Atlanta. Timmy has a photograph of himself in CNN headquarters, and there is a incident reported with CNN security of people making a disturbance in the building around the time this took place. Yeah, so the thing I don't understand here is why this has anything to do with Paula. We're not discussing Paula tonight. You can go over to BitChute and discuss Paula until you're blue in the face. What we're discussing is an accusation of Timothy Charles Holmseth and Randy Lynn Erickson of engaging in criminal behavior against financially strapped individuals that they deceived into believing in this PPTF nonsense. Yeah, that was the. This is what I was told and have verified through multiple means is that there is a dispute over forced vaccination, and this is why Paula left the daycare. Um, I'm a little surprised that since this is something that Task Force is also against, that she would turn her back on an ally like that. But considering the fact that Paula is trying to get the truth out about a few things, would answer that question. Well, Randy is more than a joke. She's a criminal, alleged criminal, um, and this would explain how they're able to get their money because I thought maybe they were getting it from donations or from uh, Randy's own wealth. But apparently, if Randy is forced to go through uh, this process of skimming people out of their money with this kind of a scam, then maybe she's not as wealthy as we say. And Sarah, yes, Randy has both children and grandchildren. However, due to an alleged discourse within the family, she is not allowed to see her grandchildren, and this was by the request of the parents and her children. So, and it's also one reason she has abandoned her Facebook account. She has not posted on Facebook in a considerable amount of time now. So, this is going to have to be something that task force is going to have to address. Did Randy and Timmy stiff this individual out of money or not? You know, I would think that they would be able to figure out who they met around that period of time. Who was this individual that stayed in the room next door? Who was this individual that is making this accusation? That is the individual that they have a case against, not me. Because I am simply relaying an allegation, and I have stated that it is an allegation. And it is not an allegation made by me. If I make an allegation, I'm going to stand by it, but I did not make this one. And they come, task force comes in. Well, if you make more money than me in a year, why are we getting these allegations of you stiffing people in a motel room? Are you that desperate that even with all this money you have, that you have to go around, excuse me, and stiff people into paying for a hotel because you're too deep to do so? Excuse me again. In task force, you apparently were so wealthy that you filed bankruptcy against a guy because you refused to pay for the work that he did on your property. I sense a pattern here. Now that you can't file bankruptcy, you can go ahead and go around stiffing people out of a hotel room. And this is the current accusation out there. And your attempts to sidetrack the conversation isn't going to work, task force. Rather than defaming people, why don't you answer the question? Did you scam a woman out of her hard-earned money up in a hotel room? Well, I agree with that, Mark. See, she can make all the claims she wants. She can say she makes all this money, but where are the tax forms that show how much she makes? Where's the Dun and Bradstreet report on how much money she makes? Now, this. Apparently, I thought that because of Randy's wealth and continuing resource that she had the money to be making all these sightseeing trips and taking pictures in front of buildings and stuff. But then, out of the blue, unsolicited, comes this claim by a complete stranger that her friend was scammed out of what amounts to about $500 to $600. The hotel rooms that they were in averaged $250 a night, give or take, depending on the season and how you booked the room. And according to this claim, this individual went there expressly to meet these two and wound up getting screwed out of her hard-earned money. It is said that she was not in a good financial position. And also, because her husband got so angry with her, he had the internet at her house cut off and is highly monitoring her online behavior. He will not allow her on any of the right-wing boards and has given her a telephone that is not even capable of accepting text messages. It's just a basic phone that she can call in and call out, but she can't send text messages. So, I don't know what the truth is there in that, but apparently that's the case. Because she, her husband claims that she is totally brainwashed. Well, here we go. it's see, Task Force won't answer any questions. Task Force is basically making herself look like an idiot and providing evidence for a future lawsuit against her. Um, and this, to me, indicates guilt because if Randy or whoever Task Force is not willing to address these allegations specifically, I got sidetracked. I was reading a couple things. But, somebody who is not guilty would sit here and say this is wrong because of A, B, C, and D. And she is completely avoiding the subject. She is being a troll, which indicates that this is either not the true task force, and the task force is nothing more than a troll who is in here to try and ghost this, or not ghost us, but sidetrack this chat. And in the process, they're only proving that they have only to go around and come up with all this nonsense that they're posting and to try and sidestep the truth. And I find this interesting because now my chat count tonight is unusually high. I've got 24 people in here actively watching the show. And less than half that are actively participating in the chat. Now, this means that we have some lurkers in here. But it means that this is a channel with relatively low viewership. It's a small channel. And yet, they are terrified of it. They do hundreds of videos about me. They come in here and mock my subscribers. And just keep going after me. Yeah, only 24 people, Task Force. Why are you paying so much attention to a chat with 24 people in it? Are you that terrified of this channel? It would seem so. You have put hundreds of defamatory and slanderous posts about me in particular. You've got a about Mert on that propaganda blog you got. And there's been a lot of defamatory talk about me over on Gab and Telegram. Now, why so much attention to me? This teeny tiny little channel that has virtually no effect on anybody. I mean, there's only like it shows on here, only a handful of people watch this channel. 24 people in a planet that it has a population of around 6 billion, and that's with a B, people in it, and a couple of people, somewhere probably in the neighborhood of 4 to 500 million people on the internet at any one time. So I'm a speck in the sand. And that, Levi and Glow fall into that category. I mean, Levi's got a bigger following than I do, and Glow's got a pretty good following. But in the whole of things, with all the message boards combined that are fighting these two grifters, there's not that many people. Now, what is starting to happen over on BitChute, Telegram, and the other right-wing social media accounts is people are starting to realize that these two are frauds. And they are going after them. Now, you got to remember, Timmy started out admiring Lynn Wood, admiring General Flynn, admiring David Strait, admiring Wano Sabin, and wandering and all kinds of people. And over a very relatively short period of time, He's gone against Flynn. He's gone against Wood. He's gone against David Strait. He's gone against Juan O'Sullivan. And he's starting to go after, in some small amount, Bill McConnell. And virtually anyone that has been an ally of Tim Homseth, he has turned on at one time or another. You can go back, all the way back to the beginning. There were two individuals in Tim Homseth's town where he was living at the time that risked going to jail to help him out, and he turned against the both of them, at the prodding of Randy Erickson. And it would seem that Randy has pruned all of Timmy's allies away from him. That could be a liability, that she chooses who is going to be around Timmy. And if people don't meet her criteria, they're out the door. And, this is happening to this present day. Because in the case of Lynn Wood and David Strait and Juan O'Sullivan, it's because these people have questioned Timmy's actions, won't give Timmy the time of day in a positive force, and have actually turned against him. And they have turned against him because Timmy has gotten too radical for even them. And so they are now starting to realize that he's a loose cannon. He's damaging their cause, and they have to distance themselves from him. Because, Timmy's got a rather odd following, and they have a tendency, at least in the beginning, to pay attention when Randy does all these allegations. However, after a period of time, people begin to wonder just what the hell's going on, and eventually take off and go into another realm. And I'm going to address this Juan O'Sullivan situation. Now, in one of my earlier live streams, somebody called in claiming to be Juan O'Sullivan. And I was not paying attention to the call. It was brief. It was one of these times where I opened up the link to the station. And this has created kind of a hullabaloo over on Telegram and Gab, because people are debating whether or not it was Juan O'Sullivan. And I personally don't know. I lean towards it not being Juan O'Sullivan, mainly because I don't think Juan O'Sullivan has ever heard of this channel. And if he had, it's small potatoes to him, and I'm probably too far to the left for his taste anyway. So it really makes me think that Juan O'Sullivan did not call this station, call this show. It's not really a station. And so, people can throw that back at Juan O'Sullivan, saying, I don't believe he called in here. If he did call in here or wants to call in here, he can contact me and I'll put him on the air for the specific purpose of addressing the situation with Tim Homseth. Because Tim started out believing in Juan, and now, no, that's not the reason. Task Force, you really should stop with the lying. I mean, doesn't make you in a good light. People from your side don't agree with me. I know that. Again, Task Force, you can't seem to get it in your thick head. This is a tiny channel. It's not important. It shouldn't matter if people call in or not, because it's not an important channel. I don't understand what your obsession with this channel is. Well, yeah, because tell the rest of the truth, Task Force. Over on Telegram, there was a call made out. Somebody shared my link to the station. It said everybody ought to call in and pile on Mert. So this was a psyop. It was a smear campaign. It's people that supported Timmy that wanted to call this teeny tiny little station and gaslight it. You know, and you people, it's funny. You people whine and cry and have little temper tantrums if I dare come into one of your channels and make a comment. You say, get off of here. Don't come in here. Go over to your own channel. And what do you people do? You come to my channel. Now, explain that. You're a hypocrite, Task Force. You sit here and gaslight this channel, yet if somebody goes over to your channel, you say, get the hell out of here. Go over to your side. Stay off our channel. Blah, blah, blah. You people are afraid of criticism. And yet you people are the ones that are terrified of this channel. This is what I don't understand. Yeah, you make a lot of dares, Task Force, but you don't answer one single question. You have yet to answer this accusation, except to demand that I retract it. But I'm not making the accusation. Now, the fact that you're in here trying to sidetrack this channel means that you know that what this individual said is the truth. That the allegation is apparently true that you people have screwed this woman out of her money. Since you're such a wealthy individual, why not refund this lady her money? I mean, this lady apparently is not wealthy like you are, and she needs the damn money. You interfered with a marriage by taking money that this woman could not afford. Give the money to the woman. Yeah, Task Force is so desperate to be relevant that she attacks this channel. See, this is what I don't this is what I don't understand, because this woman is supposed to be working with the military and the United States government. She's made claim after claim after claim after claim, and yet this very important, wealthy, high government person with all these connections is gaslighting the small channel. I don't get it. Why would Task Force have the time of day, or the time for that matter, to be gaslighting this channel? I mean, she is supposed to have important work out there trying to get the answers to what's going on with all these missing and exploited children. And yet, she comes into this channel to gaslight it. It makes absolutely no sense. Yeah, and there's that. She claims to be working with the Joint Special Operations Command, and I have talked to them several times, and they said she has nothing to do with us. She's some nut that calls up from time to time, and we basically just ignore her. Because, and the people that follow them over on BitChute and all these other wacko stations don't have the common sense to realize that they are being scammed. That Timmy and Randy are not who they say they are. They're not doing what they say they're doing. And if they do these stunts, they know full well they're going to be ignored because they're idiots. They have no proof. They come up with this stuff out of their demented minds, and none of it's true. Yet they go on day after day. I don't know how many. I've seen as many as 10 of these conspiracy videos go up in one day on BitChute, which seems to be their main focus of operation, their center, their headquarters, command center, whatever you want to call it. Everything is done out of BitChute. And then it gets spidered off into these other areas. And yeah, David Strait says he works for Trump. But, Timothy's even questioning that now. So he's basically calling David Strait a fraud. So it's just uh, one thing after another, and now we're getting into this desperate alleged behavior of stealing money from people that cannot afford to be taken advantage of in this way. And Timmy, being a quote investigative reporter, did not even know the widely known information that Nancy Grace is no longer with HLN CNN, that she has gone over to Fox News and has been there for quite a long time. So they wasted their time going to CNN. But it was a photo op. They took a picture in front of the CNN sign. They took a picture of a building in downtown Atlanta and posted it up there to impress their gullible followers, their little cult that they've got going on over there. And, so it, it's just grift after grift after grift. And then they come in here and they decide that they're going to raise Cain in the channel and put all this weird stuff up there, and they make themselves look stupid because they don't address the accusation. They tried to sidestep it, they tried to divert from it, and it didn't work. Oh, we have uh, this infiltrated by truth come in here. Now, infiltrated by truth, the PPTF has declared that you are a fraud, that you are not part of the PPTF, you are not a supporter of home theft, you're a non-entity. So I find it curious that you're even in here, uh, because they basically they've thrown you out. Yeah, infiltrated is just another person that uh, I'm not exactly sure what sure is going on with infiltrated, to be honest, because they claim that she's not part of them, that the one that comes in here is an impersonator, and then she's over there making a fool out of herself, saying that she makes love to Timmy on a smartphone and licks the phone and kisses the phone, enlarges the picture so that she can get it to his lips and all this other stuff. I mean, why someone would embarrass themselves like that on a public forum is beyond me. It's the biggest laugh I ever had listening to that webcast. Oh, this is interesting. Infiltrated by Truth is trying to bribe me, and they're not talking about Tim. Says, I will pay you more if you stop slandering Timmy, if you promote him. I can financially support you. So she's basically declaring that I can be bought. That if I draw a salary from her and say how great Timmy is and then promote him and everything, she'll make me financially secure. Well, that is not going to happen. I am not going to change my opinion and my assertions against Tim Holmseth and Randy Erickson for $1 million. This is not about money. This is about the truth. It is about someone that has been victimizing and slandering people since 2008. And so you can take your money, you can shove it up your ass, and you can withdraw that $4.99 of yours in the process, because I will not be bought. This station is not here for the money. If people want to give me a donation, they do it on their own prerogative. I'm not going to demand it. I am here to defend my good name and the good name of everybody, both in here and out of here, that have been victimized by Mr. Holmseth. Uh, you said this is from Infiltrated again. You said you were low income living in a trailer. If you stop lying about Timmy, things will go good for you financially. I can pay better than Kim. Uh, Maybe you can. Number one, Kim is not paying me. Kim has never, ever paid me a dime to lie about anyone. Get it through your thick head. I am not in this for the money. I am in this for the truth. And I find it surprising that you would be this dedicated to helping Tim out when it was told over on the Pentagon Pedophile Task Force chat room that you're a fraud, that you are an imposter, and that you are not part of the PPTF. If someone's going to throw you to the wolves like that, I don't understand how you can support them. But that's you. But again, I am not in this for the money. I am in this for the truth. I'm in this to expose these crooks. And I am not slandering these people. And what does this have to do with me? You're talking about me. If you want to discuss anything about Levi, you go talk to Levi. I'm not a messenger. I'm not going to barge into anything that has to do with Levi. This is about me and you attempting to bribe me into lying to my audience by supporting Tim Holmseth, and I will never, ever do that. Tim Holmseth has said things about me that are not true. Tim Holmseth has said things about me that is putting my safety and security in peril, and you, Infiltrated, have done the same thing by repeating his nonsense. You have slandered me, you have defamed me, you have repeated accusations that I am a child serial killer, rapist, and all this other stuff, which, with all these morons you get over on your channels, can sit there and come down here to Florida and blow my head off with an AR-15 because they've been convinced that I'm a pedophile. Jesus. Yeah, that's quite true. I think the last Dun & Bradstreet that was done on my dealership showed that I was making $3 million a year in gross revenue until people started interfering with my business and basically at the worst possible time, and I had to shut down. Well, Levi does have a following, and it's documented. Well, then you got your answer for Infiltrated. Why keep bringing this up? People, that's, go talk to Kim and Levi about it. Why bring me into the mess? This is old stuff. This is dumb. And this has nothing to do with anything. This does not address the fact that Tim Holmseth has been defaming and slandering people for over a decade. And he victimized Kim Bacasio. There's a 175-page court document detailing exactly what he did. And it's alleged that he even contacted her children. One who was in the hospital that wasn't even a teenager yet. She was like 9, 10 years old. And Tim Holmseth is writing this girl. I mean, what kind of a guy does that? And then you're in here trying to find out if somebody paid Levi Page's college tuition. What's the big deal about that? Well, Viking, it doesn't make any sense. That's why, the fact that Infiltrated is doing this, she's really put herself in a box because, she's trying to pay me off. This is something that's done in the industry, in the big industry, like Fox News. People are paying these professional commentators to say stuff. And the people may not even believe in what they're telling on these various news broadcasts, but they're being paid to be there. The production manager is telling these people, we want you on the show if you will say this, that, and the other thing, and then we'll pay you union scale to do it. And so that's what's going on here. This is probably not a serious offer. This is just something, not sure what her motivation is. And then, she's talking about Levi and something that happened in the past. It has no relevancy. What we're talking about here tonight is an allegation by the friend of a woman who did not have the financial means to pay over $500 for a hotel room, that was forced to do so because Randy and Timmy allegedly scammed her out of the money by jumping the fare, as they call it. She ran out on a hotel bill, and there may have been meals included in that hotel bill. Because you can run a tab in the hotel. I've done it many a time. You go into a hotel and you say, I want dinner, put it on my tab, blah, blah, blah. When I check out, you pay the bill and you leave. In this case, this poor individual who met them in Atlanta wound up paying their bill. And this is the third allegation of this nature. And it's the one with the most circumstantial evidence. The other two incidents are similar, but there's not enough proof for me to go on the air with the allegation. Because it would just be something with no proof. But I have written proof with specific contact information in my file that had to do with the contents of the letter I put on here tonight. This is a direct accusation by someone who gave me adequate contact information so that it was a genuine source. Whether or not it's the truth is up to the audience to determine. But the fact that high command the task force has come in here, and now we got infiltrated in here, badgering me over this particular segment, leads me to believe that there's something to this, that there is something going on where they are concerned enough to come into this station of 24 people and try and do this. And at this point, Laurie, I don't know who runs any of these things. Indications are out there that it is not Tim Homeseth, that somebody is ghostwriting for him, that the only time you see Timmy is in these little selfies where he doesn't say one single word, and it's basically just these strange, out of this world stuff. Oh, we have a new picture of Timmy. And let's see where this is. Oh, interesting. Timmy has a new selfie up. And that's interesting. Saying, wearing the same undershirt. No book this time. So that's interesting. JFK Jr. Psyop. Oh boy. Alright, what are we doing over on Gab? 8 hours ago. And this looks like it's a repeat of the same thing he's put out. Yeah, he's going after, actually he's going after all three of them. He's going after Juan O'Savin, he's going after David Strait, and he's going after Lynn Wood now. Field operative, which policy Blades reported Flynn is a cousin of JFK Jr. Well, Paula, you can address that one. Um, Film called The Makings of a Perfect Day by Wano Sabin. But Tim believed the JFK thing for a long time. Now all of a sudden he's turning his. See, this. Timmy's not reliable. He backs away. And so we have a new selfie tonight, not his book. And, oh, here we go again. Levi consumes blood harvest mid 30s. Huh, I got paid $1.99 to put this thing up. She wants to show she's neat. You know, see, the thing of it is, Infiltrated, you're a business owner. We know who you are. We know where you live, all of it. And if Levi Page wants to sue you for garbage like this, he's got the video evidence to do it. You know, you people are stupid. Because this is a direct accusation. You would have to go into court and prove this allegation. Now, if you want to pay me $1.99 to put this crap up there so that you can be sued, you know, knock yourself out. Well, I got bumped up a few people. Well, that's one of the things you and I differ on, Paula, because I do not believe in this JFK Jr. nonsense. Um, you know, and it's just that you and I have agreed to disagree. You know, which is fine. You know, this is an example of how two people that completely disagree on something can come together on a common belief, and that is that Tim Holmseth and Randy Erickson are frauds, and that they took advantage of Phil McConnell and basically screwed up his life. You know, so we'll have to. Well, you know, it's funny. There's a hell of a lot of resurrecting going on. There's a thing over they blast their Telegram channel with this Princess Diana nonsense. Oh, this is kind of a weird one. Why does Levi look 20 when he is 33? Well, I guess he's young looking for his age. I wonder if he's Irish, because I've had people, you know, I'm 71 years old and people tell me I look younger than I really am. You know, I don't know. But, you know, the funny thing is age is just a number. It's a way of measuring when we're born and the time between when we're born and when we die. You know, I don't think elephants, kangaroos, lions, tigers, bears, birds, all this other stuff go around and mark how many minutes they're alive. They just live. You know, human beings are dependent on numbers for everything. We make years, we count days, we count weeks, we count the number of people that are here in a room, we count the number of minutes that live stream is going. We count everything. Yeah, human creatures count it all. And so when somebody says that, well, he's 33 years old and he looks like he's 20, well, he's a young looking person. I mean, there's people in movies that play people half their age because they look like a teenager and they're 30 years old or 20 years old or something. You know, it's just biology, genetics. Levi's got young genes. What can you say? You know? But it's unimportant garbage to sit there and talk about somebody looks younger than their documented age. So, but yeah, it's what I find disappointing is that there are problems out there. There are children right now, today, being trafficked. They're being used in pornography. They are being tricked out as prostitutes. Uh, there's all sorts of disgusting, nasty things being done to children. And there are legitimate arguments regarding CPS and what is going on with them. But instead of concentrating on specific incidents and ways to put a stop to all this, these people are going around with these ridiculous conspiracy theories. Who looks like the Delphi guy, the bridge guy? Who looks like Whitey Bulger? Who looks like this? Who looks like that? I mean, it's garbage. That's not going to solve anything. I mean, what's going to happen? The Delphi police call me up and say, "Were you in Delphi, Indiana, on this date and time and so forth?" And I said, "No." I mean, here's the proof. I was in Florida for that entire year. Never left the state of Florida. So, blows that out. This Whitey Bulger thing is nonsense. The Finders thing is nonsense. That's all can be disproven. And, we had this Princess Diana is alive and well. I completely disagree with that. There are pictures, autopsy pictures of her, and she did not come out of that accident. It had to be a closed casket. I mean, she got turned into shish kebab. So I am not going to buy anything that says Princess Diana's alive. And they say McAfee's alive, Princess Diana's alive, we got this JFK Jr. out there. I mean, give me a freaking break, people. It's time for a dose of reality here. But this is one of the, QAnon and all these other idiots over on BitChute have found a whole bunch of gullible people. Found people that will believe in anything. People that buy the National Enquirer, the Weekly News, Weekly World News, the Globe, and not just for their crossword puzzles, but they believe in this nonsense. The grocery stores and convenience stores are full of magazine racks that have all this crap on it about all this gossip going around that's not even true or is at best half truths. And people pay millions of dollars every year for this nonsense. And now they're doing it on Gab, Telegram, Rumble, and all these other places. They're throwing away their hard-earned money on nonsense. But it's a free country, people. We have the First Amendment. But when you get into lying about everyday, ordinary people that don't have a stake in anything, that's when you're crossing a line. And this is what I try to stop. Because you can sit there and do the let's go Brandon thing and talk about Obama and Hillary and Biden and Trump and all these other people all you want. They got themselves into that mess by getting involved in government and everything. They're subject to criticism. Go for it. But leave people like ourselves alone. My understanding with Paula is that she is against forced vaccinations for COVID. She got into a disagreement with her employer and she was let go for that specific reason. And only for that specific reason. And Timmy and company have decided to lie about it. That's where they take a fact that's happened, like her getting fired, and making a lie out of it by saying that it was something that did not happen. And, now there's people in here that don't agree with Paula, don't like Paula, hate Paula, and so forth. I lost one of my good friends over this. And the commonality here, however, is that she is on the side of truth when it comes to Tim Holmseth and Randy Erickson and their involvement negatively with Field McConnell. They did a lot of damage with Field McConnell. They are responsible for Field McConnell being in the situation he is right now. And they have also damaged a lot of people that supported Field McConnell. And for whatever reason, people aren't understanding that. They don't understand the risk that Paula has taken with her documentaries. And so, you know, which good friend? Um, okay, I'm a little bit confused. Levi, you want to be more specific on what I was talking about so I can. My memory sucks and I get going on these diatribes. Well, Diane, I guess Dwayne, we're going to disagree on that. There's way too much evidence that Princess Diana passed away in the car accident. There's so much documentation that it just cannot be denied. Um, but I'm really not. Uh, yeah, what happened, Levi? I can't remember exactly who it was. It was one of the regulars. Apparently had a connection to Paula, and um, that's how this whole thing got started. Is that I was introduced to Paula much the same way I was introduced to you and Kim back in 2008. Um, it was that sort of a situation. I can't remember exactly how it went down, but needless to say, there was a mutual introduction to Paula that happened. Paula and I communicated. She told me she was doing this expose on Timmy and eventually on Randy, and that's how this whole thing got started. And, we have, Paula and I, agreed to disagree. I don't agree with 95% of the stuff that Paula puts out there. But because we have a mutual problem with Tim Holmseth and Randy Erickson, I decided to uh, trust her enough to let her put the expose out there and have the interview that I did with her, and she is welcome to this show. I do not expect people in here to automatically say that they're going to be friends with Paula or anything like that. I don't work that way. You people have minds of your own, opinions of your own, and experiences of your own. It's up to you to decide what your reaction to Paula is going to be in the past, present, and future. I do not have a say in that. I wish that you would all be respectful when you're in here, but I'm not a dictator. I simply make requests that we try to be as civil as possible under the circumstances. And that's the end of that. So, where do we go from here? I don't know. We have two cases in the news that are on hold: the Neely Blanchard case and the Cynthia Edsub case. Uh, Both of these trials are coming up in August. They're coming up about the same time. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do about covering these two. Uh, so we'll see. Well, the thing of it is, Sarah, we've got several Canadians that are involved with our politics. Paula being one, Infiltrated being another, and there's probably other Canadians out there. Uh, the situation going on with QAnon is global. Uh, and the so-called patriot movement, there's similar things going on all over the planet. So, it's politics anymore is international. We got a war going on over in the Ukraine, and it's affecting us globally. All the gas prices, grocery price, everything else is due in part to this conflict. Uh, but again, Sarah and some of the other people in here, I understand your uh, opinion of Paula, and I respect it. Uh, the other thing, if it's at all possible, if people could be just a little bit more mellow when they're in this room, it would be appreciated. I mean, there's other places where you guys can uh, battle each other on the internet. I want to try and get the facts as we know them about Timmy and Randy and some of these other people out on the internet so that people can make up their own minds. If they want to continue following Randy and Timmy, that's their prerogative. If they don't, uh, then that's it. You're correct, Dwayne. Margaritaville is a Canadian. He was working at one time with Field McConnell. I believe he claimed that he originated what is evolved into the Children's Crusade. He had something called the Children's Army or something along that lines. He once made a claim that that Field McConnell stole the concept from him, but he eventually dropped that and just supported Field more or less. But Margaritaville has been heavily involved with protests against the Canadian government, and he wound up getting arrested because of it. So that's about all I know about Margaritaville at the moment. But as far as uh, what's happening with Paula and the group in here actually is a repeat of what happened to me back in the Haley or Casey Anthony days. I had friends who were basically on the wrong side of radio news, and there were people at radio news that radio news was friends with that gave me a hell of a hard time for a couple, 3 years. And once we decided that radio was not being honest with some of the things she was doing and that she was playing us all against each other, we agreed to disagree, but we weren't going to battle each other anymore. And once radio went away because of a team effort, we began to become friends, and we are friends to this day. So, Sarah, again, you are repeating exactly what happened to me in 2008. There are people out there that actually left me because I became friendly with Levi Kim and Alexandra Goddard and a few other people. They were so incensed and so angry that I became friends with these people that they left and they have never returned. I lost a lot of good friends because I chose the truth over a lie, and I'm doing it now. Whatever anybody thinks of Paula, she is a common ally in this one instance alone. She is trying to clear the air when it comes to the actions of Tim Holmseth, Randy Erickson. At the time, everybody was involved with Field McConnell. That's her direct goal, is to get the truth out there about what happened with this interaction with Field McConnell. Now, as to her past behavior, that's a separate issue entirely. It's something I'm not going to get involved with. I know a lot of people have been hammering me both in public and in private because of my alliance with Paula. Excuse me. But we understand each other. We understand where we stand on all the subjects, and I understand that everybody has intense feelings towards Paula. and you probably have reasons for that. But right now, we have a common goal, and that is to get the truth out about Timmy and Randy. If Paula deviates from that agreement, she deviates from that agreement. Now, it's a risk that I take when I listen to people who seem to be sincere when it comes to something like this situation with Timmy and Randy. You know, actions speak louder than words. As long as Paula doesn't abuse my trust, she will have it to that limited extent. If at any time I feel that Paula is not being honest with me, I'll deal with it then. And that's all I can do at this point. But, you're kind of strained a little bit because now, see, getting back to this situation, we have an accusation that Randy Lynn Erickson and Timothy Charles Homeseth have committed a felony. It's theft of deception, theft by deception. Uh, I would figure, based on my experiences with the Omni CNN Center downtown, that we're talking about $500 to $600 in room fees alone, and there may be more money involved if there was meals provided, room service, or anything along that. So that alone is something that needs to be concerned about. Now, this new picture of Timmy, it's rather interesting. I'm going to go back in. Oh, I can't do it on that phone. Do it on this phone. Uh, these selfies that seem to pop up from time to time. Um, I'm gonna bear with me. I'm in the process of transferring an image. Okay, that's there. Okay, guys, let's tone it down a little bit. I mean, everybody's entitled to their opinions. One thing I don't want to do is have fights start up against my subscribers here. Sarah, the person has not mentioned if there is a police report or not. On the two incidents that I did not report on, other than this one, there's supposed to be at least one police report. Um, but I did not get the location of the incident, and because of that, I can't put up any information about it. It was an incident where they allegedly did not pay a bill or something, and the establishment owner did file a criminal complaint, but I don't know if anything's ever become of it because I don't know any of the circumstances behind it. Now, this um, is a picture that Timothy just put up on the Telegram this evening. Uh, I haven't looked to see the timestamp or anything, so I don't know. Um, Yeah, you can search for it. I don't think in the case of the Atlanta incident there was a police report. The hotel didn't file a police report because the bill was paid. Um, and um, from what I understand, uh, okay, I just got a uh, update. The picture is Kenosha, Wisconsin again. So he must be staying in the area. So we have identified the location at Kenosha, Wisconsin. Apparently, someone was able to process the image and show that the water tower in the background is uh, Kenosha, Wisconsin. And so let me do something right now. This is something I did a long time ago when Timmy claimed to be at the Minneapolis rally, and it turned out he was in St. Cloud, Minnesota. Okay, images. Oh, why isn't that working? No, get over there. It's not showing the angle that I want. Let's see, let me do it this way. Okay, sir. Well, that would be good because, again, this is February 2nd, so it would be the last week in January, first week in February that this incident took place. Because the picture that I put up of Timmy in front of CNN was it was published in uh, February 2nd on a video that he did. And that was discussing the resignation of a CNN executive. So let's see, go there. Doo doo doo. Okay, I think I'm pinpointing where this picture was taken. And this is where I don't know if Timmy is doing this to give people clues or if he's being very sloppy. But as I've just come up with a big okay, But you have to wonder sometimes Timmy's doing this crap on purpose. That he wants people to um, know where he's at, and then when he does that, um, people go in and they find these landmarks. And the same thing happened here. Now, if you go back and look at the picture of the flag and look real close, off to the far right hand corner is this lighthouse. And, so that's basically a dead giveaway that Timmy is there in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Uh, because it's real tiny in the picture. I blew this up, but it's way over on the end there. It's some kind of pier that runs down to the right of this water tower, and that's where he was. He was at some kind of a park at the water tower. And, and of course somebody sent me a tweet. But again, if you blow it up, there is the water tower off to the right. So he's hanging around Kenosha, Wisconsin. Wonder if he's pulling the same stunt over there. Yeah, it's exactly what it is, Glow, because I went and got the other image, and it's a park of some kind. I didn't get the name of it, and when I put up the picture, it's a collage that you can find in the Google search, and it shows that water tower off on the far right. And so that's where Timmy was. He was in Kenosha, Wisconsin at the time he made that picture. Whether he's still there or not is anybody's guess. But picture's worth 1,000 words. But, yeah, it's probably exactly where it is. The Harbor Park. But, so, at the time that photograph was taken, he was in Kenosha, Wisconsin. And we've had pictures of him in front of the community center where the protesters took place. So, so he was or is in Kenosha. And that fits because he is attacking Lynn Wood and Rittenhouse, Kyle Rittenhouse, saying that the whole thing was a movie, that Rittenhouse is a crisis actor, and so on and so forth. And so, that's, well, you're probably right, Laurie. Let me go back and look again, just for shits and giggles here. Ooh, I used profanity tonight. All right, obvious name for something. Okay. See photos of Harbor Park. Yeah, there's the lighthouse and the park. See, I'm trying to find. Okay, this picture that I just found probably gives a good idea of where he was at. Because what it does is it is, hey, arrow, don't move on me. Okay. Well, yeah, it is, but let me bring this in, and this kind of shows what I think is the exact location where that thing was shot. Um, But if it's I don't know how clear this is going to show up with you guys with smartphones, but the water tower is to the right of the water, and the arrow points to where I think Timmy was standing when he took the picture because there's a lamp that shows up in the background. And in the very extreme right hand portion of the photograph on the other side of the water, you can just barely make out the lighthouse. Uh, so far, this is basically confirming that that is where that was taken. Because if I scan through, uh, well, this photograph that I just brought up is another angle, but it's not quite where he was. I think it was that shows the water tower and a boat, but it doesn't show. That's not. They've got different collages of the. Oh, figured we got yachts again. I'm surprised he didn't take a picture of himself in front of another yacht. It seems to have this thing for yachts. And I got a weird. You know what I'm gonna do? Is this is. Let me see if I can bring this. Alright, what I've done is I'm sharing the page and I'm going to see if I can go through some of these images. Yep. Yeah, kind of a weird looking sculpture we got here. That's a trip. Uh, so we got that. Quite a tourist attraction. Now here's the this is the water tower from a different angle. Nice beach, nice water. Uh, I would not be surprised if he went down to where that tall masted ship is and was off somewhere in that area along that little wall where he took that picture. Because there's a wall that runs all the way down here. And depending on if you look over here or look over here, that's where the lighthouse is. But there's the water tower, ocean. Again, here's the park, and there is the lighthouse. And so somewhere, I don't know, can you guys see the arrow? Um, yeah, so I brought up Harbor Park, and there's the lighthouse, there's the sidewalk, and what there is that because of where this is in the picture, there was a second little lamp, and it's not coming up in the picture. But somewhere along in here, this is the sidewalk that runs the whole length of this thing, and right about in here is a little lamp, and oh, okay, Dwayne. I apologize if there was a misunderstanding on that. But yeah, you know, she took and that's a close up of this lighthouse thing. What's funny is he only usually takes one picture of a place. He doesn't take a collage. He didn't go into the lobby of CNN and take pictures in there like I did when I went in there. They got a satellite truck that they used when they were over in Afghanistan, and it was a Hummer that they converted into a satellite truck. Uh, but it's why he took that picture is probably because he wants to brag about being in Wisconsin and going to all these places, and you know it hypes up his audience. They say, "Oh, look at Timmy's there taking pictures of himself in front of a water tower." Uh, it's significant because that's the town where they had that big riot in. And he put up another one. Let's see what we got here. The JFK Jr. PSYOP. Um, and this is Picture of him in front of a yacht, a picture of him with a JFK Jr. Somebody put up that Timmy is losing his followers and his credibility. The dogs. Oh, this is supposed death threat by David Strait. That's what this. He's calling this thing a death threat. I find this. Oh yeah, Cappy is actually one of the first people to be resurrected. He just loves resurrecting dead people. Is this guy Jesus or something? He just comes out of the cave. But, the people over there actually believe in this. But he's big on this thing about the thing. He's basically just leaving it up there. Oh, now he goes into his collage. And let's see. It says more. But this is a post he had up over on Telegram that I referred to easier, going through all these different psyops. And so he's got David Lester Strait child trafficking, JFK Jr. psyop, David Strait and Lynn Wood, Juan O'Sullivan, JFK Jr. psyop again, and then he finishes off saying it's all a psyop. And he talks about Dealey Plaza, but we have a picture of Tim Holmes at the Dealey Plaza around the time that JFK Jr. was supposed to be there. And I'm going through the keep using discernment. Hopefully you can figure out. The real Joe Biden has been replaced by a deep fake. Oh, here we go. This deep fake technology has really got people in a tizzy. It's interesting interesting concept, and if we're going to go down the road of the deep fake, we can say all this stuff that they're using against me is deep fake. That none of it's real. It's all a movie. If you're going to go part of the way, you might as well go all the way. So, but yeah, but this is the thing. These people. And this calling himself a war correspondent. I mean, talk about stolen valor. Here's more on Juan O'Sullivan's friend Mert. See, he's done it again. I opened up this room, and somebody came in pretending to be Juan O'Sullivan, and now Timmy puts up a prank call. Now he's talking about deep fake stuff, and here he puts something in that has been proven to be a deep fake. Timmy is a hypocrite because he's doing this again. And he seems to want people to believe that Juan O'Sullivan actually called in here. He says, Juan O'Sullivan praised this guy Murr on air, LOL. So how do we know it's Juan O'Sullivan? There's voice changers, there's voice distorters, there's deep fake. Now, if Tim Holmseth is going to believe in all this deep fake stuff he's talking about, then what about these calls? People come in for 30 seconds to make a claim and leave. I have never been contacted by Juan O'Sullivan or anybody that claims to be Juan O'Sullivan. I put up an open link on my show. Somebody took advantage of it, came in here and made this call. There's no confirmation that it is Juan O'Sullivan. And like I said, channel with 24 viewers, roughly 1,100 subscribers. Why would Juan O'Sullivan even be bothered with this channel? Simply because I don't like Tim Holmseth, all of a sudden Juan O'Sullivan's going to come to my aid? Doesn't make any sense at all. Now, he posted this yesterday. Why did 107 call into YouTube show hosted by FBI operative an alleged child rapist and serial killer named William Gay Murtaugh? Now, here we go. Now, High Command made a big stink, came in here and said I should retract the statement about this accusation with the hotel bill. And yet here's Tim Homseth yesterday calling me a child rapist once again. Why did 107 call in to murder and threaten a federal plaintiff named Randy Lynn Erickson? Why did 107 praise an alleged serial killer who bragged about raping and murdering little kids? See screenshot below. 107 is a sick freak and a bad joke that failed in his part of the coup that involved trying to fool everyone into thinking JFK Jr. was alive. So he just threw 107 under the bus without even proving that 107 was the person who called into my show. This is how easy Tim Homseth is swayed. And he talks about deep fake, and he puts up the stupid chat again. And law enforcement from 3 different agencies have dismissed this chat, which is not illegal to begin with. And I personally talked to law enforcement about this. But this is Tim. You see, he's on a double standard here. He can make these kind of wild accusations about me, 107, David Strait, Lynn Wood, General Flynn, and others, and yet I can't do a thing. I can't defend myself. This is the hypocrite here. Tim is a drama queen. He is an attention whore. And, you know, he attacks Mike Pence. He attacks, even, you know, this Just a Movie thing started with America's Got Talent and some thing that people did on that show. And so in one instance, he's saying, what you see on TV is CGI. It's all fake. And then he puts up the thing with the chat, and he's saying it's not CGI. Timmy, you need to make up your damn mind. What is true and what isn't? You sit there and you argue deep fake, deep fake, deep fake, deep fake, and you put up all these accusations about me, telling me that I'm a serial rapist, serial child killer, that I look like Whitey Bulger, that I look like the Gemini Bridge guy, that I am a member of Farmers and all this, Finders and all this stuff, right in the middle of telling everybody this is all fake and all CGI. Make up your freaking mind. If you have one, that is. But this, you know, this is the thing with him, Homseth, and those out there, is they believe in baloney. Investigation. If Kyle Rittenhouse is in fact a crisis actor, is attorney Todd McMurtry committing interstate wire fraud? So he's attacking Rittenhouse, who's the big hero of the right, or was up until recently, and the guy got acquitted of murder of 2 people in the protester. So I just, you know, I don't understand these people. Why can't they understand that this guy is a fruitcake? That he claims that everybody's out to kill him, everybody's out to murder him, and yet here he is in public in a state park taking a selfie. No bodyguards, nothing. Does Homseth have a conscience? No, he doesn't. He doesn't have a conscience. He doesn't care. You know, he'll lie and lie and lie again. When he's called out about his lies, he does his little video montage attacking me, and then he moves on and lies about something else. That's been his uh, modus operandi since 2008. That's all he does is lie. And people believe this crap. He sits there and does his Bible thumping and does this, that, and the other thing, and these people fall right in line behind him. And it's just crazy. I don't understand what planet these people were born on. It's sheer stupidity. But now we have Timothy Homeseth and Randy Erickson being accused of a crime. And it's all here. And people can come in and they can read this. They can freeze frame it and read it page by page. And they can decide for themselves. Is this true or is it not? I don't know if the source is going to give in any information or not. But Timmy was there on February 2nd, 2022. They stayed at the Omni downtown, allegedly, had a meeting, or had attempted to have a meeting with Randy Lynn Erickson and people at CNN. And they were escorted out of the building, allegedly, by the security individual to the right of the CNN sign and two others. Now, if somebody can find more proof of this or even find a police report, I would appreciate you sending it to me. Right now, all I have is this individual who sent me the message. And that's where we're at. Well, Dwayne, that's true. It's Timmy and Randy are making these allegations. Law enforcement hasn't made them. Nobody in the official government has made them. No state attorney. No FBI. Nobody. It's all been Tim and Randy. And his followers. That's it. And I have challenged people several times, and you can go on my program log and look through all my videos, but I have challenged people to call the Leesburg City Police Department, which is the Trenton Duckett case, the Orange County, Florida Sheriff's Department, which is the Casey Anthony case, and the Putnam County Sheriff's Office, which is the Haley Cummings case. You can also call the Delphi, Indiana law enforcement agencies. You can call all these law enforcement agencies where Timmy has attempted to tie me into these cases and talk to them and ask them, do you know of a William K. Murtaugh? Are you investigating William K. Murtaugh? So on and so on and so on. And you will get the same answer. No. He's not a suspect. He's not a person of interest. We, in some cases, never even heard from anybody about him. Except people that decided they wanted to call up and verify that there'd even been a police report, which there hadn't. So it's this same thing over and over again. And then task force comes in here and makes these idiotic accusations against my members of the chat here. And I have had people driven away from this show because they are not going to put up with the kind of nonsense that Task Force and these other people dish out. They just, they don't like seeing their name on a YouTube chat in this manner, so they don't come to the show. And this is deliberate on their part because they don't want people to pay attention to the show. They're scared of this show. And so that's why I'm always telling people, you like the show, subscribe to the show, share the link with everyone that you know, and hit the notification button so that people can come in here, see this content, and make up their own mind. Um, because I'm not forcing anyone into my point of view. I am telling people my story, what is happening to me, what is happening to others, and what I feel is going on with these two characters. And it's up to you, the viewer, the listener, the reader, to make up your own minds. You can't lead a horse to water. You can't lead someone to the truth. They must be willing to seek out the truth and believe the truth when they see it. And that's just all there is to this. Other people come along like Paula and this anonymous message person to give me information, and I put it out there for you all to digest. And it's up to you to make up your minds about what you believe or what you do not believe. If you're still going to support and believe Tim Holmseth, that's your prerogative. But at least you have my perspective and what I believe is the truth. And that's the way it goes. Now, I appreciate everybody coming in here tonight. I appreciate you putting up with my rant. You will be seeing more of Mittens as time goes on. We're going to follow Mittens as she grows up, and maybe she'll quit with a clawing. I've got several places on my arm where that little bugger has clawed me because she likes to wander and she doesn't like it when she's held. And she tries to make her escape, and in the process, she gouges my hand. But she's a cute little cat, and so her and Amber are getting along quite well. So have a good weekend, folks. What's left of it. Come back again. I'll let everybody know when I'm going to do another segment. Because one thing is certain about these two characters, they sure come up with stuff to get in the news. There's stuff that I could have filled up 4 hours with tonight involving these two, and just haven't got around to it. I will say this, just to get this out there before I take off. It would appear that radio is as busy as ever, and the segment that I planned on doing about radio, I will be doing in the future. But it's not me that Timmy and Randy have to worry about. I'm the least of their problems. I don't have the means to do anything, but radio does. And based on the information I am starting to get, it's becoming increasingly clear that Timmy and Randy and some others need to start worrying about Timmy and radio news. Dwayne, I have gone over that picture and I could not find a source background picture. If the picture had been photoshopped, there would have been similarities in the background. That would show that it was actually a picture from a different source that they photoshopped. If you have an original picture that would show it without Tim being in there, I would like to look at it. It's hard to do a analysis on images that are on BitChute and other social media platforms because of the metadata that's used to create the picture. You have to have the original picture. And is he dead? I don't know. The funny thing that you mentioned this, Dwayne, is in the picture of the marina, the picture of the public building in Atlanta, and the picture of the public building in Kenosha, he's wearing the exact same outfit. And there's a picture of him in front of the yachts where he is wearing the same outfit. The t-shirt, the white t-shirt, and the khaki pants. He wears the same thing every single solitary time. And the variant is he'll put on that wool jacket or whatever it is, the gray jacket. You see it in every picture he does. It's like he must have 20 t-shirts, 20 pairs of khaki pants, and so on, because it's always the same image. And, you know, why? Why go through all this baloney? He doesn't have to put up a picture of him doing anything. People believe he's alive no matter what. There's people that believe that this guy is on assignment and in protective custody, even though he's out in the public in front of hundreds of people with no bodyguards in sight, and takes all these selfies. It's just another inconsistency in his excuse me, narrative, that he simply cannot uh, prove what he's doing. Gets in front of a camera, has a second person with him, takes a picture of himself, puts it up on the internet, no commentary at all, and goes into all these different conspiracy theories. It's a joke. But what he does by doing that is it gives us a clear idea of what he's doing. Now, I have it on good authority that there are people out there, I think in law enforcement, that know where they are every second of every day. That they couldn't hide if they wanted to, because they are being tracked. And because of that, all this claiming of being targets of assassination and all this other stuff simply isn't true, because he could be taken out anytime, any second of any day. All it takes is one sniper, and that's the end of Tim Homestead. So this is all lies on his part. He's not wearing body armor. He's not wearing any kind of protective clothing. He's not wearing any disguise. He's out there for the world to see. He's an attention whore. He's a drama queen. And he may not care. He may not care about money, but he sure loves the attention, negative or positive. He likes people to know that he is him. And if he can get one person to believe he's out there saving all these children, then he's won his fight. And he's got more than one. You got to admit that. There's people that are stupid enough to believe that nonsense. And so he is his own deep fake. So, all right, I bent your guys' ears long enough. I'm surprised I got 22 people in here, but that's the internet. Again, I appreciate all your attention, at least giving me a platform to voice my case, and go decide for yourself. Please like, subscribe, share, hit the notification button, and come back again soon. Until then, this is William K. Murtaugh, Witness 1. Have a good weekend, and make it a great day. Good night, all.